This is a demo of Pony Express's Citadel PX, built for scalable penetration testing. We're going to run this demo in a number of steps. So first we're going to show you connecting the sensors to the console. We'll show you navigating around the console. We'll get into the automated assessments capability, and then we'll show you building custom tasks and using those against the sensors. And from there we'll dive into manual interaction, and we'll show off some of the reporting and data export capabilities. So let's get started. Okay, so let's start by connecting a sensor into the console. Okay, so here we are on the sensor login page. Notice this is running on 1443, and we're going to log in with the default credentials. And this will give us the ability to register a sensor to the console. So in this case, and we'll go ahead and enter the host name as well as the password and hit register sensor. And we can see that it's successfully licensed. One thing we'll definitely want to do here as well is change the password. So we'll enter the default password and a new password. And hit change password here. Great. And so we changed the password. Let's go ahead and log out. And this system is now connected into the console. Now that we have a sensor connected, let's show off how that looks in the console. Okay, so here we are on the landing page of the console, and notice this is running on HTTPS Citadel demo. We're going to go ahead and sign in. And from here we can see a couple different graphs that give us visibility into the number of assessments run over time, as well as the attack surface, which is really just a grouping of host services and wireless networks today. We can also see recently completed assessments, so automation that's already been run, as well as upcoming and queued automation. And we can kick off new assessments from here. Let's dive in. Let's go find the sensor that we just connected in. Okay, so we've got two sensors here. One is not connected at this time. This one is connected. So let's take a look at this one. And we can see here, there's our host name. And let's go in and actually configure this sensor. So this is our new sensor. And this is located in Miami. So let's call this Miami office. And we're going to put it in the all sensors group. From here we can also configure a reverse SSH listener, and this will give us the ability to send an SSH shell from the sensor to the receiver of our choice. Let's go ahead and leave that blank for now. And let's give it a network range that it's authoritative for. Okay. And we can configure other attributes here. We can dive into this later, but for now let's go ahead and submit. And we'll see now it's named the Miami office and located in Miami. So now that we can see all these sensors, we can see a grouping of these sensors here under all sensors. So we can see there's some sensors which aren't checked in. One thing to note, when a sensor is not checked in, automation will not be run on it. And so these sensors are on a 10-second poll time. They will become inactive if they don't check in within a specified amount of time. And so these sensors really haven't checked in a while. We can see 23 days ago since this sensor was connected. And we can see that Miami is checked in less than a minute ago. We can also take a look at the assets that belong to this sensor. We won't see those until we kick off an automated assessment. We can take a look at the results. We can run an update on the sensor. We can clear it out, any automation that needs to be run on it, or we can unlicense it from this page. Okay, now that we have the sensor configured in the console, let's go ahead and run an automated assessment on that sensor. Okay, so here we are on the assessments page. Let's go ahead and click into automated assessments. And we can see that no assessments have been run yet. So what we're going to do is actually kick off a new automated assessment. And by default, we're going to run a baseline network discovery task. In addition, we can kick off a brute force with Metasploit or a wireless site survey. Let's go ahead and do the wireless site survey. And we can kick it off against an individual sensor or a group of sensors. In this case, let's just kick it off against a single sensor. And we'll see here that two tasks have been stuck in the queue for the Boston office. And so this will take a little while for it to complete. Again, these sensors pull in every 10 seconds by default, so we'll just wait a few minutes here until we can see that these have been started. Okay, there we go. Now we can see that this task is running on the Boston sensor, and it was kicked off here at 5:15 UTC. Okay, so we can see that we got some results back from the network discovery task. We can see that there's the IP address, the OS guess, and then some service information about that. about that particular host. And we can see that the wireless site survey is still running here. Now, one thing to point out is that these assets are then grouped underneath that sensor and available via the Assets tab. And we can also get into those by going to the sensor and looking at assets specifically for that sensor. We can also see all those results for the sensor here. So let's come back here to automated assessments, and we'll just wait for the wireless site survey to finish. Okay, so we've got our wireless site survey results here, and we can see there's an SSID as well as a set of clients associated with each AP. And so this will give us visibility into the wireless network. We can also see the security for each particular access point. So it doesn't look like there's any WEP in here, which is good. Okay, so next we're going to show off the custom task functionality, which will give you the ability to define your own automation as well as run that against a single sensor or a group of sensors. Okay, so let's browse to custom tasks, and we can see here is a listing of all the custom assessments that have already been run. If we click up here at Manage Tasks, we can see a listing of all available tasks for us. So if we dive into one of these tasks, let's take Discover Hosts. We can actually set up a command line with some variable interpolation that'll be run on the sensors that we choose. And so let's go ahead and edit this task and say we just want to run this on ports 1 through 1024. And this is going to use the network range from the sensor in order to figure out which range to run on. And these are defined in the sensors configuration page. And so this is going to interpolate that into the command line. So let's go ahead and come over here, start up a new custom assessment. And let's do Discover Hosts. And we're going to scan ports 1 through 1024. And let's kick that off. Let's kick it off against all sensors. Okay, so much like the automated assessments, we can see here that it's stuck in the queue for the device, and then once the sensor checks in, it'll actually be kicked off. Great, so we've got some results here for the sensors, and we can see that the task was run here properly, and we can see in this case the 1099 range was used. Here we go, similar thing for the Miami office, just like we configured it, the 192, 168, 185 range. Great, and we can actually export these results if we'd like to. Get the raw results right there. So that's the custom tasks functionality. Okay, so now let's show off some manual interaction with a sensor. Okay, so in order to manually interact with the sensor, let's go here to the sensor page, and we'll click Configure. What we'll want to do is actually configure a reverse SSH user, a receiver host, and then the port to receive the shell on. And we'll browse over here to the reverse SSH page. So now what we can do is actually hit Start Tunnel, and this is going to create a task to fire up a reverse shell. So at the same time, we will bring up a shell into our receiver. And we can see here that we've got a shell on 3333. So if we go to here we are. Okay, and so now we're actually manually interacting with the sensor. And from here we can fire up any of our favorite command line tools. And now that we have MSF console running, we can use go. And it's relatively fast, so we should be able to get some results here quickly. we go and we see that there's a Windows 2000 box running on the local network. So if we want to, we can actually manually exploit it from here. And there we go. We've actually got a session open on a remote host that we otherwise wouldn't be able to access. Great. Okay, now that you've seen manual interaction, let's take a look at the reporting and data export capabilities of Citadel. So to look at the reports, let's actually browse to the reports tab here, and what you can see is that the reports are very similar to the results from the automated assessments today. So if we click here on View a Report, we'll be able to see the results from our wireless survey, as well as our network discovery, and any other automated tasks that we've run, for instance, a brute force task. We can also hit download raw results here, and what we get is a JSON version of those results that can be imported into whatever tool that you'd like. Another nice function of the Citadel is that we can click here to the Assets tab and then download all of these assets as a CSV. So if we click Desktop here, go ahead and save that, and we'll be able to open that up in whatever tool that we'd like. So, and there we go. We can see all those results, per sensor here in the CSV format. And custom tasks are much the same. As we get results, we can actually download those raw results. Raw results in the case of custom tasks are actually just the standard out of the individual task. And so we can take this and we can drop this into a report, or we can take it and trend this, or dump this into a sim, whatever we'd like to do with these results. Thanks so much for your time. This has been a short demonstration of Citadel PX from Pony Express. If you'd like more information, you can contact us at www.ponyexpress.com or reach out to our sales team at sales@ponyexpress.com. Thanks.